they'll lynch you. But he did, and he laughs at me.
You are a different cat. You're a different cat of fish.
Hi everybody, Russ on the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. If you're new, Andy, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. Why don't you? Happy Monday. Oh, it's not raining at the moment, but it's a bit near in it. Mondays, weekends go so quickly at the moment, and it's ridiculous. Hope you had a nice weekend. Obviously, no West Ham. And we'll have West Ham for another couple of weeks at least, so look forward to it while you can. And I present to you the lunchtime headlines. So obviously, there's not really enough to talk about loads of stuff, so, but there's loads of little bits. So what I thought I'd do is present almost like just like ITV News at lunchtime. That's what this is. Just the lunchtime headlines, and obviously then we'll have the afternoon headlines with the Hammers headlines in association with the KUMB.com boys later on. So a few stories, but they're sort of little stories. Apart from this one, this was quite a big story in terms of Kurt Zouma. Obviously, we know that Kurt had successful surgery. That was announced by the club on Thursday night, just randomly, and speaking to various sources, it seems that the belief was it was going to be they were hoping that it would heal naturally rather than needing surgery in terms of his knee injury, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, and so he had successful knee surgery on Thursday as revealed. But according to injury journalist, what a great job, injury journalist Ben Dinia, Kurt Zouma's recent surgery could seem sidelined for up to 4 months. We know he's been visibly struggling in recent months, particularly his knees, hobbles quite a lot, and as I said, went under the knife last week to sort out the issue ahead of the second half of the season. He's suffered with his knees throughout his injuries, but Ben believes surgery was essential if he was ever going to play again without pain. Speaking to Gimme Sport, Ben said, depending on the extent of that surgery, whether it was just a bit of flush out and a bit of a trim, something for the weekend, sir, or it's something a little bit more involved in terms of the meniscus, you could be talking a period up to 4 to 6 weeks, or possibly 3 to 4 months. Imaging may not have been conclusive. Suffice to say, it would have been a strong indication if the player wants to play pain-free going forward, that the decision to take operation was the correct one to make at the time. So it does seem that Mr. Zouma will be out for a prolonged period of time. As I said, back in 20, have I got the stats? Back in 2011, 2012, he had knee surgery and was only out for 3 games. But we'll see. Be interested to see what happens when we see the team line up at Boxing Day against Arsenal. Back to the Kurt Zouma story. As a follow-up, ex-WHU employee, fair play to him, he was on the game show on Thursday despite all this news breaking. He's revealed that West Ham could definitely delve into the market in January to get a centre-back after Kurt Zouma's injury and subsequent surgery. He said he could well force David Moyes' hand in the winter window with another central defender possibly on the agenda. I think it was already on the agenda anyway, but maybe even more timely now. With Zouma likely to be out for a large part of the season, it would not be a surprise to see Moyes delve into the transfer market and pick up another centre-back. With Craig Dawson looking increasingly likely to leave the club, it could well mean that he may need to get 2 centre-backs. Or maybe Dawson isn't going to leave. That was always the plan. The plan was maybe in January, we get another centre-back in and he leaves. That was sort of the gentleman's agreement. But this has put maybe a cat amongst the pigeons. And I wouldn't be confident letting Dawson go and with Zouma out with a prolonged period of time without sufficient reinforcements, in my opinion. The great news is obviously now for Gued, who was fantastic yesterday for Morocco. He's slowly getting there in terms of his fitness and his levels of performance, and obviously playing in the World Cup, he'll be currently up to speed, hopefully when he comes back ready for the second half of the season, and we shall see what happens there. Hammers headlines, we'll talk about one of the main targets, Jakub Kiwa, who we've spoken about a few times, but you can we'll call it a teaser. Check out the afternoon edition. Next we have I haven't got my where's the thing? Oh, it doesn't matter. we'll talk about something else while I try and find where's the bloody I had a lovely little picture there. Oh, give me 2 seconds. Hope you're watching the World Cup. Hope you're enjoying the World Cup. I'm getting used to it now. I'm quite enjoying it now. I think there's some really interesting games being played. Obviously, yesterday, Naya Aguero I thought was fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. I thought it was yesterday. As Morocco beat Belgium. I'm quite good at stalling, aren't I, really? There we go. I found it. And yeah, so obviously we've got a whole week's 4 games week. Another 4 games every day, I think, isn't it, for the rest of the week? And my office is refitting, so hey, all in the background. Anyway, that's enough stalling. The new Crawley Town manager has been announced, and congratulations to former Hammer Matty Effington. We've had him on the channel, friend of the channel, Matty Effington. He has been appointed Crawley Town's first team manager. He was officially announced yesterday. Congrats to him. Crawley were linked with the likes of Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank and also West Ham's under-18 coach Kevin Keane, but opted for Effington, who signs an initial 18-month contract, leaving his previous post of being Peterborough's under-23 coach. He's joined by former Spurs teammate Simon Davis as well, blast from the past. Crawley Town famously last season, didn't they sign Mark Wright on a short-term loan, and this year they're signing, or they are looking to sign, Toby from the Sidemen and his brothers as well. The Sidemen, who were featured heavily, West Ham were in their latest show on YouTube on Cyber Sunday, where they hired out a box at West Ham and stuff like that. Check it out if you're interested. And then half of them go to, I think they went to Southend United. So they had like a cheap versus steep type experience. But congrats to Matty, and I'm sure he'll be a great success. What's next? FA Cup news. So there was speculation, obviously, in terms of I can't really say pre-season break or pre-season, it's sort of mid-season training. We had 2 friendlies lined up, one against Fulham on the 16th or 17th, I can't remember the top of my head, of December, and one against Cambridge United on the 6th of December, I believe. There was fears that the Cambridge United game might have been called off due to Cambridge's involvement in the FA Cup. If they'd got through the next round, beating Grimsby Town, the next round would have fallen on that weekend, so they wouldn't have been able to play that game. So they may well have put a spanner in the works for David Moyes' mid-season training regime. I don't know. We haven't got a term to call it, really, whatever it is. But those fears have been squashed as Cambridge United lost at the weekend to Grimsby Town in the FA Cup tie, meaning that their friendly with West Ham on the 6th looks likely to go ahead. And so that's good news. That's good news, isn't it? Because obviously we've got best laid plans, all that type of thing. Speaking of the FA Cup, it is the third round draw tonight. The third round draw in the FA Cup tonight. West Ham obviously in there. We're ball number 42. Some other balls to look out for. As he actually said to the Bishop, 26 is Millwall. Tottenham's 39. Dagenham Redbridge, Darryl McMahon's side, or Gillingham 58. Wrexham with Rob McKillian and Ryan Reynolds. He's number 46, and then you've got the big boys as well, like us. Arsenal 2, Chelsea 12, Liverpool 21, Man City 23, and Man United 24. But we're number 42. Ties are going to be played in January, but we know Moyes is always after a cup. We're always after a good cup run, aren't we? 42 years of hurt. Never stop me dreaming. So keep an eye out for that. I think it's at 7 or 7:30 on BBC One, so check that out. I'm sure there'll be loads of coverage around it afterwards, and we'll bring the latest news to you once we have it. And a couple of good victories over the weekend, as always. Let's start with the under-18s, who won again. They won again impressively. They extended their winning start to the 22-23 season with an incredible 4-1 victory over Arsenal at the weekend. Despite the hosts taking a brighter start to the match, the Hammers raced into a 3-goal lead within the first 15 minutes. Divan scored twice, God bless him, again, and George Earthy, sorry George, his close finish gave the visitors a commanding advantage into the second half. The Hammers have now won their opening 8 league matches of the season, scoring a remarkable 30 goals during that run. They're now 10 points clear at the top of the under-18s Premier League South table. Great to see the boys doing really, really well. And obviously the under-18s headed up by Kevin Keane. And the women won again. West Ham women clinched their first 3 points of the Continental Tires League Cup group stage with a 2-0 victory at home over Birmingham City. A rain-soaked East London saw Kate Longhurst, God bless Kate, friend of the channel, got the Hammers started after only 12 minutes. And then Paul Konjeski's side battled well and had chances to go in front. But we just couldn't connect. But Dagny, bless her, West Ham fan as well, got the skipper. The skipper eventually put the icing on the cake, converting a penalty after Jamie Flynn fouled Asene in the area. The win means that the Hammers move to the top of Group C with one match remaining. Paul Konjeski's side need a point now, will be enough to qualify for the knockout stages, and they'll be playing against Brighton and Hove Albion. So loads of stuff. A couple of victories, couple of FA Cup bits, Crawley Town new boss, and the news that Kurt Zouma could be up for several months. There we go. Nice and sweet. But as I said, there's those little bits. I thought we'd do a headlines and that type of thing. If you enjoyed it, give us a shout. Give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll be back later on with Hammers Headlines. Keep an eye out for that. A few transfer rumours, as always. And that's it, my friends. Take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, stay positive, keep the faith. And as always, I'd like to thank all of our channel partners and all of our members. But today we'll thank our sponsors and partners. So take care, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.